Epic. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make progressive house in the style of Tinlicker and other Anjunabeats artists. I've had so many requests for Tinlicker that is what I'm going to do today. Check out all my other in the style of videos that have been getting insane results from you guys. And as I said, we're going to be focusing on that Tinlicker style progressive house, kind of Anjunabeats style. So we will be covering the kick and the bass. We will be covering the percussion. We will be covering the synths and the bass lines, if I've already said that, and basically everything, including some mixing and arrangement too. You can download all the files below this video, so don't forget to do that. Give this video a big fat thumbs up if you dig it, subscribe to my channel, and without further ado, let's hop into the door and get it done. Right, first thing I'm going to do is select the tempo, 124. Again, you can find the tempo by listening to other music in the similar genre and on that label. I'm going to call it Zinc Kisser today. Think about that. Right, first thing I'm going to do after that is create some chord progressions, because this is my magic list. And Tinlicker's stuff has got simple chord progressions, but a really, really solid beat and groove. Lots of layered drums that are just really carefully selected because the sound selection is everything. Syncopation in the synths to add groove, and I'm going to be showing you all of this today. And then very delicate kind of breaks and really gentle piano and stuff like that. So let's get that chord progression done. So I'm just going to load in the grand piano that comes with Ableton. And I'll be referring to this magic list often. And I'm going to just jam out the chord progression. And then I'm going to show you how you can program it in if you can't play the piano. Okay. Let's just have a jam and play. Nice. Epic. Right, that's the chord progression we're going to use. I'm going to show you how to make that heart melter progression. So the first is to work out where you're starting, and that's a G. And I can tell you now that this is in the key of G minor natural. So I'm going to do my template technique as usual, but you can use the scale feature to help as well. But this one's a bit special because we're actually going to use one note from outside of the key of G minor natural. But I'm just going to draw it in quickly. In fact, what I'm going to do is draw in all the notes of G minor natural first. And all minor keys have the same intervals between them. So you could actually just draw all the notes of A minor natural because that's easy. It's just the white notes. So just draw in all the white notes like so. From A up till A, grab them all, then just notch them down to G, and now you've got G minor natural. So I'm going to just duplicate that one octave up, and then one octave down as well. And then when I press the fold button, we've got 3 octaves of the key of G minor natural. What size have I got this zoomed in at? Yeah, 130, that's okay, so you should be able to see what I'm doing. And now, any note that I press here is in the G minor scale. So let's put the bass notes in first for that progression. Oh, yeah, I forgot. We want to select them all, press left, jog them out the way of the clip so then you don't actually hear them play, which is just a horrible noise. So if I select any of these notes here, they're in the key of G minor natural. So they're the bass notes of the chords that I jammed in, those heart melters. And now we just need to skip a note each time, and we can draw in the chords using this template technique. You could just, drag them around, it would be quicker. But so now let's have a quick listen. And I'll show you how to fancy these up in a sec as well. Now, the difference is the chords that I played in, the third chord was actually a major. So if you do want to use an accidental, that is a note that's from outside that scale, it's absolutely fine, as long as most of the notes are within that scale. And you'll hear it if it sounds weird. But to change a chord from a minor to a major, or a major to a minor, you just have to get the middle note, and to change it to a major from a minor, you move it up one semitone. So it's gone from this to this. But you'll see I had to unfold to do that because this note here isn't within the scale of G minor natural. So I'll do it for the last chord as well. But my chords just sounded nicer, and that's a fact. And the reason that is the case is because I used inversions, and all that means is that I changed the bass note of some of the chords. So here, I'm just going to select it, hold shift and press up. So now the bass note of that chord is E. I can press fold again, and you can see here E is the accidental, the one note that's not in the scale of G minor natural. And if you want more music theory stuff, take my music theory for EDM producers course because it's awesome. I'm just going to notch that up as well. So now all of these are closer together. And I'm going to change that note halfway through to this one, just to add some more movement. And on this one too. Cool. And that is how you get that luscious chord progression. Right, and we will be working with that a bit more soon. So next thing to do is the kick. So I'm going to just turn this piano down a bit because it's a bit loud and brash. Color it blue. Call it piano. Piano. Assign color. Call it piano there. Right, onto the kick. Simple, simple, simple. You just choose a nice big kick. You can do that using Splice or any kind of sample packs really, but we wanted something really deep and solid because remember Tinlicker's got that solid groove, and this just isn't progressive house just in Tinlicker style. It's just you know, a good artist to give an example of. So I'm just copying and pasting that beat on that kick on every beat. I might tune that kick if needs be. So let's have a listen. That sounds more in tune, and it's still got the power. So I'm going to leave it on that. Okay, next I'm going to just delve into my auxiliary channel, show you what I've got going on here. A room reverb with a utility to just boost up the gain a bit, and then an EQ to take out the low end. Hall reverb, same thing, except I've got a longer decay time. And then a bass reverb is basically the same as the room reverb, but I'm only going to use that for the bass, just to split things up a bit. So I'm going to add some of that hall reverb to the piano, get it sounding epic. Just a bit more atmospheric. Cool, okay, on to the next thing, kick, bass, bass baby. I'm going to create two basses. I'm going to create a mid bass and I'm going to create a sub bass. But let's create this first. And Tinlicker sounds are the synth sounds are actually usually quite basic, like lots of saw waves, and then just tweaked to, you know, to taste. So as I'm only using the Ableton plugins, I am going to use the analog. So let's have a little listen. So because our tune is in the key of G minor, I'm just going to do the bass note on G to begin with. And I'll choose a good rhythm for that. I don't want it fighting with my bass line, with my kick, sorry. So it's on a G, I'm going to hold shift and notch it down a couple of octaves. I'm just going to copy and paste that all the way along. So you can see where every kick hits, I'm taking out a bass note. And we'll use a sidechain compressor too, but let's just kind of get this sounding a bit better with these. Tweak the release. Might have to go down an octave. I know what I will do. I'll leave it from down an octave because that's what the bass line's going to do. Sorry, the sub bass is going to do. So I'm going to just do 2 voices on this. Usually I would have a bass in mono, but I want to do this little effect to give it some more movement. Every other beat, I'm just going to put an octave above on the G as well. Cool, now let's just duplicate that. I should have duplicated it before doing that top one. I'll just delete the top one. Oops. As on the sub bass, we just want the 1 note playing. And for sub bass, I won't use an analog, I'll use an operator because it's even simpler. And we just want a sub bass, a sine wave sub bass for that. So let's just. Cool. And I'll tweak the ADSR controls. I'll make sure I've only got 1 voice playing because we don't want the sub bass overlapping. Otherwise it gets very messy very quickly. And you can hear that kind of clicking sound. So I'm just going to put an EQ and take out not the low end. I'm going to take out some of the high end. So we've just got that kind of power. And I might roll off some of the low end of our other bass so it doesn't clash with the sub bass. Cool, I'm going to group those basses together because we're going to process them together. And if you're not using live, then you might use a bus instead of a group. I'm actually going to do something a bit more interesting with this bass as well. Just add some resonance. And I'm going to group it by holding Command and G. Then I'm going to duplicate that analog to another one, and I'm going to tune this one up a few semitones. I'll turn off the second oscillator on the second one. I'm tuning it up 7 semitones just to add some more harmonics to it. And then what I'm going to do is assign these a macro. I'll assign the frequency on each of these 2 synths that I've created. So that one and then this one the same. And that is so when I control the frequency cutoff with this macro, it does it on both of these 2 synths. Cool, now we have separated out the basses so we can add some reverb to this top bass whilst leaving the sub bass completely dry. Like so. Next thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of saturation to that mid bass. I will leave the top bass, the sub bass nice and dry. I'm just going to listen to some of these presets. That's nice. Just to thicken up the sound a bit. Too much resonance. Cool, and one more thing I'm going to do with these basses, I'm going to pan the one that's tuned up 7 semitones slightly to the right and the original mid bass to the left a bit, just to spread it out a bit. Nice wide basses there. Now you might want to check for phase issues by checking in mono, but that's sounding pretty good to me. And you might want to use something like the Ozone Imager, the multiband version that isn't free, to make sure that everything under 130 Hertz is in mono. Boom. Next thing, loads to get through still. Sidechain, let's just add a sidechain compressor there. So you know how it goes, guys and gals, you know the score. Sidechain compression, boom. Remember, give me a hell yeah or an amen, brother, in those comments below, because I love to hear from you, and let me know what you want me to cover next. Cool. This was actually a request from one of my masterclass students, because, you know, they get special attention, yo. So that's just to allow the kick to pop through even more, and we can just copy and paste that pump compressor where, as and when we need, on different elements. Okay, on to the next thing. Ooh, this is cool. The Arpeggio. I could do the drums next, actually. Nah, let's do the Arpeggio. I always do the drums next. So this is kind of indicative of the progressive house Anjunabeats sound, especially Tinlicker. So we're going to create an arpeggio, except we're going to program it in manually. And I'm going to use the same notes as the piano chords, of course, because they're the same chords. So I'll do it over here because the bass note's just staying in one place there, so that's not going to help. So I'll copy and paste those. I'm just going to find a basic sound for the arpeggio before I do too much. Whoops, don't need to copy those. Although you could copy the template if you wanted. Oh, this is going to be easier to do this. So let's get a synth sound to get started. I'm going to use the wavetable this time because I've got some lovely rich sounds in there. And again, I'm just going to start from presets because it takes a long time to program sounds from scratch. And why do all that hard work when you don't need to? That sounds pretty cool. Whoops. But I want to program in my own arpeggio. So what you can do is you can grab everything for each chord. I actually do want it 16ths. I could turn off the arpeggiator here. Let's see. That would be in here. Rhythmic. I haven't actually used the arpeggiator on this synth before, so I'm not sure exactly where it's located. Okay, looks like I can just delete the arpeggiator. Cool. I could add the 7th chord as well, actually, just by skipping one more note. That's cool. Let's do that. And then you just follow the same idea for the next chord, like so. Just making sure one note's playing each time. It sounds better when you've got the same amount of notes playing in each kind of iteration. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see how that sounds with the piano chords. Cool, okay, so let's just continue that. Whoa, it's quite hot in here. In fact, I'm going to fast forward this, but you can see what I'm doing because otherwise it's going to take too long. I might fast forward it, we'll see. I might add another accidental then. That's nice. And this one, I'm just gonna carry it on over both of those bars because it's a long, it's just a long chord. And one of the notes changes in that chord and it goes from a C to A sharp. So I'll find the C in the second part of that. Here. Change it to A sharp. Cool. And then you program it in again for the rest of the chords using the same technique. Nice. This is taking ages. Almost there, guys, almost there. And then same thing on this as we did for the other long chord. Just same notes there. Okay. And then we change, whoops, I'll delete those. Remember, we need to change the C's to the A minor on this last bit of the chord. I realise this might be a bit advanced for some people, but you know, tough luck, son. Nice. Cool. I actually might choose a different sound, so let's just have a quick listen through some of them and see what we come up with. In fact, I think we just need to actually just zoom it up. Let's take out some of the low end with an EQ. Nice, cool. Okay, so now we need to loop a bit of that for the bit where the bass isn't changing. Except I'd actually like to let's see, to kind of keep that syncopated. This is what I mean about syncopated rhythm. So the first note doesn't happen on every beat. So it kind of confuses your mind, but then listen when I bring the kick drum into this. So it's like, oh, where's the beginning of the bar? Oh, hello, kick. What's your name? My name's Groove. Nice to meet you. Oh yes, here we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Right, next thing is that phrase. Next thing is the beats. So let's get some beats on the go. We got a few beats here. I'm going to try and be quick because I know time is precious. You guys have got weekends to enjoy, or whichever day you're watching this on. So I'm going to go to the current project. Let's just bring in a hi-hat on the 16th, a closed hat, standard. Cool. I'll just bring that out the whole way. Just copying and pasting, or rather duplicating. Lovely jubbly. Just duplicate that. Okay, now we'll get a shaker on every half beat, or every off beat rather. So we go into my current project and shaker. This is a bit of a long sample actually, I might tweak that. You know the score, guys. In between every kick. I'm going to tweak this sample, make it a bit shorter. Okay, on to the next soundy bit. That's what I like to call them, soundy bits, extra perk. This is just to kind of add some groove, add some extra groove. So let's get a couple of these. What sound should we use? This one. So we're just going to get a loop feeling on the go. We'll do this on every, just before every bar. So this isn't where the open hat would usually hit, and we will have another open hat in a little while. But I just want to give you a taste of this. In fact, I'll increase the attack of that so it's a bit smoother. We don't want such a sharp hi-hat sound. It's just to add some audio texture. And then we've got this other percussion sound, and we're just going to put it in exactly the same place. And again, that might be a little bit harsh in terms of attack. So we can pan one right. Turn this down. And the reason that I've got these send things showing here is if you click this I/O button in the drum rack in Ableton and then R, you can create return chain and then assign it here to your main reverbs. And this is great because then you can dial in by using that, making sure that S is clicked here. You can dial in a little bit of reverb for each separate drum. So you can hear this percussion dry with some room reverb. Cool. Right, where were we? More drums. Yes, please. So the next drum we are going to add is the clap, the all-important clap. How could I have forgotten the all-important clap? Sound selection is really important here. So just preview a bunch of claps until you've got something that sits well with the rest of your drums. Add a little bit of room reverb to that clap. I'll tweak the room reverb to be slightly shorter. Cool. Now we are on to the next thing, which would be the open hat. Now this is only coming in later when we're adding to the tension, adding to the, we're really building, because we are going into arrangement today as well. So we've got that classic 909 drum machine sound. I'm just going to filter out some of the low end within the simpler in Ableton. But you can use an EQ if you're not using Ableton. Bit too much. Just to keep it nice and clean. And now we can program it in. I might actually tweak the transpose on this to bring it in key with the rest of the track. Pan it a little bit, maybe a little bit of room reverb. Nice. Okay, that's pretty much the percussion done already. Already done the auxiliary channel, shown you that. So we're going to add a bit of a stab at the beginning to just give it a bit more atmosphere. Call that stab, color it blue because it's an instrument. And then, like, this is something I found earlier, this sound, but it's just a, you know, it's just like a dodgy, it sounds like Mario Kart on the SNES, I think. It reminds me of that. Oh man, pop culture. And I'm just going to tune it by pressing complex Pro on the warp and then choose the right note. So I could have it there, or I could have it one octave down, which would be 8 minus 12. That would be -4. I think I'll have it -4. It's a bit more epic. So this is the sound. So now it's in tune with our track because I just did it by ear. So let's get rid of some of the low end, so it doesn't mess with our bass. Then let's put a bit of a echo on there, like so. You could even put ping pong on that and have it go, but I'm going to save the I'll save the externals for my synths. Okay, cool. Now on to atmosphere. This is really important when it comes to progressive house. And again, this is a trick that Tinlicker uses a lot. But if you get some kind of tonal atmosphere that is in the same key as the rest of your track, it can really add some extra depth. So let's have a listen. I selected this one earlier because it's G minor and I was just going through my samples, but again, you can look through Splice or Loop Cloud and just find something that's in the same key that you're working as. So this is all it is. Just a little loop. You could even double it out by holding Shift and extending it. And you could add reverb, but it's kind of already got reverb on it, so I think I'm just going to leave it as is. Turn down the open air to touch. Cool. Right, at the end of the drum thing, we're just going to have a little drum intro, and I'm going to use another clap for that. Just to keep things a bit interesting and let you know that something's coming. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. In fact, I'm going to add a little bit of echo on that as well. And I will have this pan because I want that effect on it. So if we just put or delay. Oh, there's something else I want to do with the hi-hats, actually. I want to delay that. So I'm going to ping pong that. And now listen to the claps at the end. Right, tweak this slightly so they're not perfectly on time. Just make it a bit more organic. And turn that down because it's just a subtle effect. Right, onto this closed hat. I wanted to add some delay to that too, just to make it a bit more interesting. So I'm going to just go delay, ping pong, turn feedback right down, and then I'm going to tweak these offset things, and it's going to be like, it's a bit like the Haas effect. So you have to be careful you don't run into phasing issues, but it just gives it a tiny bit extra stereo width. So this is without, and this is with. Boom. Okay, right, now we are getting into the epicness. Now we've got the main groove and we are going to tweak the mix, don't worry about that. But now I want to add some vocals, because you've got to have vocals, man. I'm going to tweak these notes a bit. And you can do that by pressing fold with your template technique. You can just choose any of the notes and it should sound pretty good. But if chords share a note with the chord before it, it often gels them together and makes them sound more like their, a cohesive composition. So you can see that note is shared. I might even go share that note. That's epica. Epica's a word. Same there. So all I've done is just move some of them up, and it's turned them into suspended chords and seventh chords. Don't worry too much about it, because if you're using the template technique, it's easy to experiment. But that's just beautiful. So now all you need to do, go on Loop Cloud, go on Splice, and search for, in this instance, it would be vocals in the key of G minor, which is what I've done. I'm not going to give you the vocal with the download because it's not royalty free. It's not my vocal, so I can't do that. But just find another vocal in the key of G minor. Right. So let's find the vocal that I got. I've got one more thing to do with the drums. I'll do that in a sec though. So let's get that vocal in. Where would it be? Here we go. And this is just going to be nice because I already know it's in the key of G minor, so I know it's going to sound good. And I'll show you how to process it too. I'm bred. In fact, before I give you the treat of hearing this amazing vocal processed, I need you to leave me a comment in the comment section below this video. A hell yeah, an amen brother, it's all good, I love it all, makes my day, and let me know what you want me to cover next. Now I'm going to add some effects to this and I'm going to show you how. So without further ado, let's get that EQ on, just make sure that we've got low ends taken out. I'm born, I'm bred, I'm changing my direction instead. And I'm going to add a little bit of compression just to rein in some of the, you can see it's quite a dynamic performance. Lots of peaks, lots of troughs. So I'm just going to even it off. I'm born, I'm bred, I'm changing my direction instead. My heart, my head, my reasoning is And I'm going to add a little bit more air after that as well. I'm born, I'm bred, I'm changing my direction instead. My heart, Right, now before we hear the whole vocal line, I want you to it's going to sound much better with some vocals effects on it. So I'm going to just call this Vox FX. Going to color it pink. If you want more, like way more in-depth stuff than this, you should definitely check out my courses, because I've had thousands of students get really amazing results from them, like hit #2 in the Beatport charts and get their first releases and even become a full-time music producer. So it's all good, guys. Right, next we are going to get a delay on here. And these one-take things are quite stressful sometimes. It's like, I have to get it right, I have to get it right.
I'm born, I'm bred, I'm changing my direction instead. My heart, my head, my reasoning is complicated.
Sounding pretty good. Let's just get some
I'm born, I'm bred, I'm changing my direction instead. My heart, my head.
I'm going to add a little bit of reverb to that. I know there's already some on there, but just to soften that delay a bit.
I'm born, I'm bred, I'm changing my direction instead. My heart.
I'm going to add a compressor at the end of it, and I'm going to sidechain the compressor from the main vocals. So here we go. I'm going to call that vocals, or just Vox, because it's a weird name at the moment. Color it correctly.
Every little symbol, every little sign, every little symbol.
Symbol. Let's see if that sounds better.
Born, I'm bred, I'm changing my direction instead. My heart, my head.
And I'm just going to add a tiny bit of room reverb to gel it with the rest of the track.
I'm born, I'm bred, I'm changing my direction instead. My heart, my head, my reasoning is complicated.
Let's add some bass notes to those chords. Oh yeah, let's get some really nice, like, incidentals.
Born, I'm bred.
Almost too nice.
Born, I'm bred, I'm changing my direction instead. My heart, my head, my reasoning is complicated. Born, I'm bred, I'm changing my direction instead. My heart, my head, my reasoning is complicated. Every little symbol.
Oh, that is a beauty. That is a heart melter. Right, okay, we are going to do the drop next, and we will be doing a bit of mixing too. So let me just check my magic list of magical goodness. Wow. Okay, backing vocals. Okay, backing vocals. I quickly slap those on, and they're just to give extra depth to the second part of the vocal bit in the break. Whoops. So it's not going to be complex. Again, it's just a sample I found that's in the right key.
Every little symbol, every little sign, every little symbol.
Just add some extra texture. Okay, on to the drop. So we're going to roll into this drop.
Every little symbol.
That's pretty much how we'll be rolling. So we'll turn off the open hats for the time being. Turn off the open hats there. What's going on?
Sorry.
Yeah, well, I'm recording. Mum's visiting today. Bye, Mum. I'm recording a video. Whew. Okay, right. Gotta love that live take. Right.
Every little symbol, every little sign, every little symbol.
Okay, we are going to get this sounding big. Next, we are going to add a bit of white noise to hit on that drop. I've got my own white noise creator, which you can have for free when you download this project. Where be you, white noise creator? Special effects, Will's white noise. Here we go. Just got some macros controlled in, so you can control the level and the frequency. Take off make it a bit smoother. Cool, and we're gonna add some hall reverb to that, make it bigger. And we're also gonna add some sidechain compressor as well. So we'll stick that there. And we're gonna have that on the drop. Like so. Too much pump there. Nice. You can see there's some mixing to do, but it's still sounding pretty dope. Okay, I'm just going to call this BV for backing vocal, color it pink. Get that out of the way. And then we are going to do some automation. We got to automate the ARPs and use filter, frequency cutoffs, things like that, because that is essential for genres like progressive house and pretty much all genres nowadays anyway. So yeah, let's do a bit of automation and then we will do some arrangement too. So to make this drop bigger, I'm going to automate this arpeggiator filter frequency. So it's going to be building in the kind of pre-drop, as you'd expect. And then on the break,
I'm born, I'm bred, I'm changing my direction instead. My heart, my head, my reasoning is complicated.
yes.
Every little symbol, every little sign.
Okay, we need to bring some rhythm in there, so we're going to use a filter on the drums, frequency filter, over the whole drums, and we are going to do this to just introduce them a bit.
Every little symbol, every little sign.
I'm just going to take this open hat back a bit just for this section because it's confusing the rhythm a bit until the main beats are in.
Every little symbol,
Can turn the resonance up
every little symbol.
and then automate it, just getting up like this. And we can just turn this filter off when we're not using it.
Every little symbol, every little sign, every little symbol.
Cool. Okay, almost there. Now we are going to take out some of the frequencies in this arpeggio as well. We can minimize all that because it's all done. What I'm going to do is add a reverb and I'm going to automate that on. I've got a transition effects thing. I could use that, I suppose. Yeah, okay, I'll use that. Let's see, Will's transition effect. And it's just like a macro with some stuff in there. Use this. Okay, well, that's easy.
Every every little symbol.
So it's adding delay and reverb. And the frequency. Now, the other thing I wanted to add to the drums was this little kind of glitch effect almost, which is just one of my vinyl crackle samples. Just close all that down so there's you can get over. I'm just going to use it like as an incidental. Choose a nice part of it and choose just so there's sustain, no attack, no release, just so it stops playing whenever I stop it being programmed in. Like this. Okay, that's not a great place in the sample. It's a bit too poppy, like crackly. So I'll just loop this bit and solo the drums. Filter out the low frequencies. It's just like a little glitch, and I'm going to have that every now and again. So just to add some more texture.
I'm born, I'm bred.
EQ the piano.
Changing my direction instead. My heart, my head, my reasoning is complicated. Every little symbol.
I'll take out the last piano chord.
Every little symbol.
So you could have that completely cut off just on the drop, like so. Like so. Yeah, and I'm going to add a little reverse sound just to introduce that drop. So something like this, although it should really be a bit longer, but you know, whatevs. So I'm going to make sure that that hits, well, it stops just before the actual drop, like that, or on the drop, but not after it. And then I'm going to hold shift and just, no, I'm not, I'm going to have to press warp first. Complex Pro, and then I'm going to hold shift and drag it back to make it a little bit longer. Like so, but let's make it quieter. Okay, so now let's get the arrangement done. So we're going to build out from where we got to now. Cool. Okay, I know exactly what we're going to do. We'll do this much arrangement. I'll get my full drums there, and I'm going to take some of them out. So this kicks we're going to take out for a little intro. And we're going to take this bass and make it follow the chords after this. We'll cut out the sub bass for the little intro. Not going to add the open hats yet. We'll leave that for in a minute. So now we need this bass line to follow the chords. So we already know what the chords were earlier, and if not, you can go and check in your piano. But
is complicated.
That's nice.
My reasoning is complicated.
So anyway, we need to follow those notes, and we can do it by going to the piano and copying them, or I can just do it from here because I already know what they are. So first we'll do the bass, then we'll do the sub bass, because remember, those two are separate tracks. There we go. So now we just need to do the same with the sub bass. I'm just going to copy this and paste it because the sub bass follows the same pattern. Make sure it's in the right octave though. So the sub bass is in G1. So, okay, good. It's in the same octave. Is that the right note? Let's see with the piano. I might have got the wrong note there. Yeah, it is. I'm going to take out those high plinky plonky bits. In fact, I might take out the piano because we don't want the piano, so why have I even got it there? So in terms of the arpeggio, let's go back to the, the filter cutoff that we want. So we can just copy and paste that. Where would it go? And it would be about there. Okay, so this is frankly an awesome track, and I might need to actually finish this and get it released because I'm loving it. That drop will be bigger. I'll mix it a bit more before I give it to you anyway. Now, what we want to do to capture that Tinlicker vibe, I'm going to create one more instrument. And it's just going to be a synth, it's going to be simple, and it's just going to be to add an extra line, synth line. So let's go. And then I'm going to choose the analog, and I'm just going to make a brassy kind of sound. And all I'm going to do for that is go to the filter envelope, increase the attack. Whoops, I'll have to turn the cutoff down. So it's like an electronic brass sound. Add some room reverb. And I'm just going to jam. I'll take out the low end. And then I'll just jam a couple of things. Just something like that, I could program that in, but I'm not going to bother because I've showed you what it would be like. So I am just going to add a bit more of this vocal. When all the drums are in, it's going to be
Every little symbol.
Just little like incidentals.
Every little symbol. Every little sign.
And the filter opens up. Yes, okay, I'm going to add one more. I'm going to program that synth in, just so it's in part of the tune. So what I'm going to do is just going to loop one part of that, consolidate it, quantize it, make sure they're all hitting right. Make them a bit longer so that you can hear the filter open up. So I'm just going to copy and paste that and have the filter, whoops. Didn't consolidate it exactly on the loop. And now I'm just going to open up the filter over time, like so. I think the velocity is varying on that from when I played it. So I'm just, yeah, I can see here. I'm just going to select them all and up the velocity so it's the same for every note. And then I might add a ride cymbal just to add even more drums on the top of that. But I think I've taken up enough of your time. I hope you've enjoyed this. This was a pretty epic one, even by my standards. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I really need your support. Share it with your friends and give it a big fat thumbs up. Have a great weekend, and until next time, cheers and happy producing. So there you have it, guys. I really hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to download the project file and all the samples for free. Give it a big fat thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and until next time, cheers and happy producing.
I'm born, I'm bred, I'm changing my direction.